Hello, and welcome to the Practice Marketing Podcast, highlighting successful strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics and experts so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. Hi, I'm your host, Neil Trickett, CEO of Practice Promotions, and today we're going to be talking with Jon Dooley from Greendale Physical Therapy and how he turned local roots into lasting growth. He's the founder of Greendale Physical Therapy, a 7-location clinic in Massachusetts that lives by the tagline, "You don't have to be an Olympic athlete to be treated like one." And we'll dive into how Greendale has expanded through specialized services like neurological, balance and vestibular centers, aquatic therapy, and built deep community roots and turned patient wins into powerful marketing. So from growing revenue to leading local events and tracking new patient metrics, Greendale PT is a great model for sustainable growth in the PT world. So Jon, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Neil. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So I love your tagline, where you don't have to be an Olympic athlete to be treated like one. So I'm curious, how has that played into your mission and your vision for Greendale PT?
Yeah. We've had this tagline for a long time, and it was probably about 15 years ago or so that I put together what I called our 10 guiding principles, which was 10 things that I thought were important for my team to understand how I thought about things with the practice and how I felt about taking care of our patients. And the very first guiding principle is we take care of people as if they're Olympic athletes. And that's not only, from a patient care standpoint, which is obvious. You want to take care of them as well as you want, with a lot of competence, a lot of respect. But it also extends over into, how I treat my employees and my team and how my management takes care of their team as well. We treat them with a lot of respect, a lot of competence as well. And that philosophy, trickles down into, how we take care of our patients.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Sometimes it's one of those things where, as a business owner, you're like, oh, I really got to spend time on like writing out these core values and, these missions and all this kind of stuff. You're so focused on the day-to-day, but you don't realize like how big of an impact that really has on the future of your business and how everything aligns to it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I did this, 15 so years ago, and it still resonates, today, and we still, stick to them. I bring them up whenever we interview a new therapist. We go through the 10 guiding principles, so they know, what we're about and how we view things. And also we refer to it whenever we do, emails about, teamwork or consistency or, these types of things. So it sort of permeates how we do things. And we've got some cool, philosophies in terms of how we do things.
I love that. Yeah. So for our audience out there, if you haven't really spent a lot of time on your guiding principles, on your core values, your mission, your purpose, like it's a great time this time of year to really get into that, right? And map how you want it to be for your practice, what you could see. And it makes it so much easier just to operate the business off of that once you got them in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jon, I noticed, we've talked over the years here, and I noticed that for you, you've really obviously grown your business substantially here, but you've also added a lot more programs and features. Can you tell us a little bit about the things that you've kind of brought into the practice over time? Like you've got, obviously a neuro balance vestibular center, an aquatic center, dry needling, all these game ready services. So like, what's that evolution been like for you in Greendale?
Yeah. So I mean, take for example the aquatics therapy. We've done that for almost or maybe more than 20 years, and that's just a nice added service for patients that can really benefit from it. There's a lot of patients who may not benefit from land therapy but do well in the pool, whether they're back patients, athletes, people with amputees, that type of thing. So the aquatics works really well for that. And then we also have our, like you mentioned, our neurological balance and vestibular center. So this was something we were rolling the dice on, and thought we'd just try and see if it would work in Central Massachusetts. It's the only practice of its kind in Central Massachusetts that treats neurological balance and vestibular primarily, and that has been about a year in, and it has taken off significantly. And it's been nice because when a doctor needs to refer a patient to physical therapy, we have a very comprehensive set of services. So we can take care of that high level athlete, and we can take care of that person with Parkinson's, or that amputee, or that person with vestibular. So it's really made us sort of like the go-to place, because we take such take care of a large breadth of conditions.
That's really fascinating. So have you did you put the programs like into a current facility, or did you actually like say, hey, this is one location, we're just going to have this complete neurological vestibular center around? Like, what was your thought pattern there?
Yeah, so what we did is we had an orthopedic clinic that was about 3,000 square feet, and we outgrew that space. We needed more space. So we moved the orthopedic sports component to it across the street, to this massive facility where sort of our bread and butter orthopedic sports goes. And then we sort of said, what are we going to do with this 3,000? We got a decent rent here, and we just don't want to abandon the space. So we had a lot of therapists that were interested in neurological balance and vestibular, and I just sort of said, hey, let's try and create a clinic focused around this. And it's been great, because it's been able to take care of that patient that has been really underserved. And also another component to it is that there's a lot of therapists out there that want to do neuro, that don't have that opportunity, and has helped us from a recruitment standpoint as well. It's been able to get a lot of therapists who are interested in that.
That's fascinating. Yeah. So you said, okay, I see there's a need in the community here, and let's take a risk. And we've got the space that we can use. Let's build out a program within this space. And I think that's really smart.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's smart or not, but it's worked.
If it's working, you're smart.
And there's a little bit of a side, but it's higher Medicare population, so the per patient revenue is down a little bit, but it still works. And but it's cool, because it's really, I walk in there, and we've got a solo step, so we have a harness system. We've got all the vestibular stuff. We've got the goggles. We got all the toys and stuff like that that the therapists love using, and it just is really serving an underserved population, and it's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity for that, because you don't see many neurological centers. There's practices where they'll have it as a component of what they do, right? There might be a program, and they might have one neurological therapist, but there's really, unless you go to like the hospital outpatient,
Yeah.
they tend to have more of that. But as far as like outpatient, otherwise, there really isn't much of that. But I think what it shows is that there's a lot of untapped markets that PT can be in, and I think the neurological one is definitely one. We got a lot of aging population, the boomer generation, right? There's going to be much more need for those type of services. There's things like medically orientated gyms that you could operate, that there's a huge need for that, for cardiovascular and diabetic and, again, neurological type conditions that want to keep active. So there's lots of, I think the key thing is just kind of looking within your community, where are there opportunities, right? Where are there holes in the market that you could fill, and obviously planning out what that would look like. And I think what you did too, which was smart, is that you saw the need there in the market. And to me, it's like, if you're going to do something like that, go all in and make it its own center versus one little piece of a practice, because it stands out, right? And you can market it.
Yeah, we did. Like I said, we rolled the dice to see if it would work, and it's worked out very well. And like I said, like you mentioned, that this is, a lot of hospitals have this type of service. The closest service that's similar to us is about 30 miles away, and it's Spalding Rehabilitation, which is a big name rehabilitation hospital in Massachusetts. So yeah, we have a really unique thing, and I think by being unique, we've been able to get a lot of patients that come to us.
Yeah, I love that, because there is a lot of different PT services out there, and sometimes in the public eye, and even physicians, right? Physician groups, it can all look the same. So you've got to be able to differentiate yourself in the market to stay competitive. And if you have programs like that are pretty unique, you can stand out in the market for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
And so we're coming up on 2026 here, and there's a lot that we know there are challenges and adversities in the industry. I'm curious, what's your priorities going into this next year for Greendale PT? Is it going to be, adding more services, expanding the services that you have, growing the new patients, profitability? Kind of curious what's on your radar.
Yeah, that's a great question. It changes, any goal changes from year to year. Our goal going into 2026 is we've been, very fortunate that, with a lot of the things that we've implemented, that we have a lot of patients that want to come see us. So it wasn't the problem when I first started, but we do have that situation now. So we're looking for more therapists to join us. Recruitment is a big thing for us, and the other thing is getting some more space for our therapists, so that they can practice to the best of their abilities and have a good location and space to do it. So for me, next year is recruitment of therapists and adding some good space for my therapist.
Usually the challenge, right? Get more people, get more space,
Yeah, yeah,
make sure we're getting paid well. The core challenges of business, but it's interesting to hear what you're focused on there. And I like what you said too, when you have these different service lines for your business, you can attract a wider range
hmm
of therapists to you, right? Because you have
yeah,
different offerings for different interests that
yeah,
those therapists might have. So I like what you've focused on there. Yeah, and I spoke at the APTA private practice section this last month and on recruiting and hiring. Right now we have about a 12,000 PT shortfall in
yeah,
the market, and that's not going to change for at least 12 to 15 years out. We need to produce more PTs is the bottom line for the
yeah,
demand that we
yeah,
have. So it's just one of those things in the market where it's just going to be super competitive for over a decade,
yeah,
and you have to be able to offer lots of things within your practice, make it really desirable to come work for you, and then market it appropriately, right? So that's what's going to allow you to attract the best talent to come work for you in this very competitive
yeah.
recruiting environment.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Have you found things on your end by your kind of sports performance programs or neurological programs? Is that something that is helping you to differentiate with recruiting?
Yeah. So in terms of recruitment, yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest focuses we've had over the past few years, and we made a huge change in terms of how we did things in our practice. One for our patients and for better outcomes, and two, for recruitment purposes, and that was switching from the half-hour model to the 40-minute one-on-one model, and that has been huge for our recruitment. I will say, from a financial standpoint, I do take a little bit of a haircut, but it's okay because we make up for it. And when we did a survey of all our therapists that we hired over the past 18 months or so, one of the primary things that they said that they joined us was the specialties, the 40-minute treatments, and then of course up that was up there as well,
Mm-hmm.
as it maybe should be. But those were some of the things that they joined us because of. So
Yeah, it's great to hear. That's interesting too, like obviously in the model and that's part of business, right? Adapting to the market. Right now the market is that it's a buyer's market for PTs out there.
yeah, yeah,
And so as owners, I think it's very hard these days to operate a business where you're expecting them to see two, three patients an hour. Like that 30-minute model or double booking, and it's becoming more and more challenging to keep the therapists. And I think you're looking at what you were looking at there too is yes, as a business, we might lose a little bit of the income level because we can't see as many patients in a day per therapist. But if you retain those therapists, it actually saves you a lot of money in the long run because you're
yeah,
not having to constantly replace and hire and recruit for therapists to
yeah,
replace people that you're losing because they're unhappy or going to someplace that does
yeah.
offer
You,
the
you're,
lines
you're
like.
absolutely right. I mean that you hit the nail on the head. Is you want to take care of your therapist so they stick around long term. I always look at it as hitting singles and doubles. You don't have to have home runs for every single one of your therapists. Just be consistent. Generate some income from each one. But don't abuse them. I think therapists are smart. They're not going to those practices that are cranking them 20 patients a day type thing. They're they're talking to their people. They're smart when they are interviewing clinics, and they're smart. They're not going there. The thing that I do see, the people that do go there is when they get paid huge bucks, but they're going to last a year and then they'll probably come back to my clinic. So
Yeah, no burnout
yeah,
because of the high demand on them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know that's one thing. So home health hospitals obviously could pay a lot higher wages, but the longevity in those roles is a lot less, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And what we're looking forward to with a therapist is someone who is more purpose driven than they are money driven. So we want compensation is an important part of the conversation. Don't get me wrong, but we want people who want to be part of a team, that want to be part of a growing practice, not just hunting the money, right?
yeah.
For that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what every practice owner hopes that people coming in are looking at. I mean, I think we've got a great culture, some great continuing education and stuff like that. And I always hope that they value that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but you always hope they do.
The top 10% of PT owners aren't just surviving, they're thriving. But what's their secret? Well, Neil Trickett's new Market to Grow book reveals how the top 10% of PT practices leverage marketing systems to simultaneously grow their new patients, attract top talent, and boost profit in their practice. You can learn from their secrets. Visit practicepromotions.net/book to claim your free copy of Market to Grow. Yes, you heard that right. We are shipping a free copy of Market to Grow to all podcast listeners who want it. Just visit practicepromotions.net/book to claim your free book. And now back to the show.
And in this competitive environment too, it's like if you can offer a lot of different options for them, that's attractive to a therapist coming in. Maybe they do have a passion towards vestibular, for example, like you can help move them in that direction. So if you have these different offerings, it makes you're much more attractive to therapists coming in. And I think where we're at now is we know it's going to be very competitive for therapists for many, many years to come here. And so we have to, as a business, work with what can we offer the public that they're willing to pay for in both traditional insurance, but also going beyond that in additional cash service lines on top of what we traditionally would do in insurance, because we need to get that dollar per patient visit up to a much higher level. And that's through upsells and different things that we may offer within our practices. But that allows us to be competitive in our pay for therapists and attract better talent and also be profitable at the same time, right? So I think that's a big thing I'm seeing here in the industry is the growth of hybrid clinics that are bringing in people willing to pay for additional services beyond just insurance. And I'm curious on your end, since you have added things on, are you starting to have a little bit more additional cash service lines in your practice?
It's one of the things that I think we can explore. I mean, primarily we're insurance based, and that's where the majority of our patients are. But we do have some cash stuff like the dry needling, those services where there's an additional amount tagged on, and then with the Neurobalance Center, where the insurance may not cover or whatever. There's some people that are more apt to pay out of pocket for those types of services, and then. There's a lot of stuff like, for example, women's health. Now I know some people are starting practices and they're charging, big bucks, for a visit because, because they can, and there's such a demand for it. So there is a lot of, niches that you can generate some additional income. But that's something we definitely have to look into in the future.
Yeah, excellent. And so you've done a lot of work here to build your practice, build your reputation in the community by, doing events and sponsoring different, runs and events. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved, kind of things that you do now within the community?
Oh, yeah, you get me excited, Neil. This is stuff I like to talk. We are involved with anything and everything in the community as much as possible. We do the baseball team. We do the the 5K road races, the turkey trots, we do everything. But the coolest thing we do, I think, is we are the Worcester Triple Crown sponsor, which is a series of 5K road races in Worcester. Worcester is the second largest city in New England, and we are the primary sponsor of these 3 road races. It's the Jingle 5K, the Celtic 5K, and the Cinco 5K. And not only is it cool because it's a Worcester based, and we like to be like the biggest and best in Worcester. I think we are, but it's Worcester centric stuff. But it's also nice because we can have our team participate in it. So we have a lot of people that'll run the 5K. We get free entries, by the way. We get have people run the thing at the races, and then also we have a wellness coordinator who coordinates a walk for it. So we have people that run it, walk it, and we have a huge group that does these things, and so it's cool that we sponsor it. We make it an outing. It's nice because you get the clinics that know each other, and then people from different clinics get to know each other, and it's just a nice social team building type situation as well.
I love that. So you take it beyond just, hey, let me pay for sponsoring, put my name on a 5K banner, right? You kind of go way further than that and making it something that can build your team, something that can build your presence in the community. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, and it's fun, it really is. And then they announce, Greendale Physical Therapy, and they also make sure they say my name as well. Jon Dooley, thank you for seeing Greendale Physical Therapy. They give us shout outs and stuff like that. So they've got thousands of runners for these races. So it's a nice little community marketing type thing. It's do we generate a ton of patients from it? Probably not, but it's fun and it's good for the team.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to monetize those or put a what was my ROI on these things. It's hard to put a number on that, but you don't know who saw your name from that, and then they saw their doctor, and then they chose to come to you, right, because they remembered your name.
It's a branding thing for sure. Yeah,
it's definitely a branding thing. That goodwill in the community. I would say too, what's really interesting I've seen is that if you are involved in the community and you are building sponsorships, typically those sponsorships, they will put you on their website, right? And they might link your website to on their website back to yours. And that can help actually with your SEO. That can help you with ranking in Google if Google sees you on these other sites, especially like nonprofits and things like that, or soccer programs or whatever you might be sponsoring there in a community. So it's always a good thing to make sure you're on your Chamber of Commerce, that you can be on local sports teams, whatever you can sponsor there that actually gives you a backlink to your website can help you on your rankings in Google too, as well as a goodwill, obviously, being out there in a community.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's definitely a benefit as well, for sure.
And so you've also done something around a lecture series for local health professionals. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done a lecture series. There's the lecture series. There's no real ulterior motive to the lecture series. It was just something that we wanted to do to provide some good content for our Greendale community, the medical community, and also our therapists and our team as well. And it's really grown into we've done a bunch of these lectures, and it's neat because, like, take for example, one of the guys, doctors that did a lecture, he was just starting a direct primary care practice in Worcester, and he's a sports med and also a primary care, and he's just getting going, and he did a beautiful talk on non-surgical options for osteoarthritis. And it was nice because we were able to market the heck out of him through our email, our Facebook. We did faxes, and it's no skin off my back to do these things. And it's nice to get Greendale's name out there. But we're promoting the heck out of this guy who's starting a new practice, and who knows what the return is for him. But he gets his name out there, and then when he gets busy, who's he going to refer his patients to? But that's not really the motive. The motive is just to get them promoted. And I know for myself, when I started, 20 plus years ago, I wish I had somebody out there, helping to promote me, and here, I've got these young doctors that are looking to start their practices, and I'm able to help promote them. Like the other one was a minimally invasive spine surgeon who's new to town, and we promoted him as well. So, just stuff like that. We did another doctor who, who refers to us quite a bit, but he's starting up prolotherapy services. So we were able to do a lecture on prolotherapy and promote him for that as well. So yeah, it's one, to get great content to my Greendale community and to my therapists, and two, I guess, helps promote people who are working with us.
That's awesome. So primarily with the lecture series, you invite physicians or newer physicians in the community to give a lecture or webinar or something like that to your audience.
Yeah, so it's everybody. We've had newer medical doctors, it's the medical doctors who've been around for a while. We have a new occupational therapy program, which is new to us this year. He did a nice talk. We had we had a local sneaker store. Give a talk on sneakers and the right sneakers. We had a gentleman who treats doctor who treats Parkinson's. We had a podiatrist. And also we had a therapist do stuff on concussions as well. So
excellent.
So it is PTs, OTs, MDs, whoever wants to do it. We'll take anybody. So
love it. And so are these in-person lectures or are these online lectures? What do you typically do there?
Yeah, so we do them in person, and
Okay.
like I said, we market the heck out of it, and we usually get a good crowd for these lectures. So we get a good number of people for these, and then we videotape it and we throw it up on our website. So if you go to our website and go to lecture series, there's a series of lectures. Sort of like your podcast, I'm sure. You probably got to listen to your podcast. I don't quite have 152 yet, but I'm working my way there.
Okay, love it. Love it. It's such an important thing. Like we got to realize that people in our community, also physicians. I mean, they're businesses too, right? And they're trying to get in front of audiences and trying to show their expertise. And if we've been in business a while, like you have this tremendous asset, which is your patient list, right? These people that have followed you for a long time, and ideally you're marketing to them consistently. But what can you give them of value? And often having an expert speaker on a particular topic is something that they would like to hear. And hey, if you can build a relationship out of that too, whether it's with a local running store, whether it's with a different physician out there, you're not just asking for referrals all the time, you're actually giving back. And that stimulates that reciprocal relationship with doctors. So I love that.
Yeah, you're absolutely. For me, like I said, it's not an ulterior motive to get patients, but just a mindset of, what I wanted when I first started my practice, and I would love to have that opportunity, and just giving these new docs that opportunity is great.
Yeah, love that. Love that great networking mindset, right? And helping people. Now, one thing I know you do really well from your marketing perspective is you're very good at collecting and communicating patient wins, right? On your outcomes pages, success videos, testimonials. So can you tell our audience a little bit like your methodology behind that, things that you've been successful at with it?
Yeah. So Neil, you want to know my secrets? Is that right?
Tell the secrets, yes.
Okay. Okay. So here's the secret. The number one secret to getting hundreds of reviews like we do is we coach our therapist, and even the front desk is when a patient says to them, "Hey, I'm doing better," or "Hey, physical therapy has really helped me." That is your cue to say to them, "Would you mind helping me out and do a Google review for us?" And then also say to them, make sure it's a 5-star review, because 4 stars brings us lower. And then also, can you put my name in there so my boss sees my name in there, so I can, maybe get a raise or something. So, so that's the number one way that we've done it. The other strategy we've used is we've done contests between clinics. We have fun we call them Facebook like contests, and different type of contests between the clinics, and we do like a month-long Google review contest, and the smaller clinics will need less reviews, the bigger clinics need more reviews, so there's some parity there, so it's equal. And yeah, we just pit each clinic against each other, and they get whatever, a $50 Staples gift card or whatever they win, but they work their butts off to get it. And believe it or not, we have a clinic, our smallest clinic, our Fitchburg clinic, is just hell bent on beating all the bigger clinics. And they win all the Facebook contests. They win all the the Google review contest. So yeah, so those are the two strategies:
I
the
love that.
contest, that cue to ask for ask for the review.
Yeah, a couple great things to unpack there. I mean, one is that you have to coach your team, right? Like the most powerful reviews you'll ever get is from within the clinic. And if you're just reliant on automated systems to ask for reviews, you're missing out on some great opportunities. And just like you said, John, we don't want to ask for that review at discharge or at the end, right? We want to ask for it when the patient has a transformation, when they're feeling really good. And that might be at visit 3. They might have had a big win, right? They might have major pain breakthrough or whatever they had, right? Like that's the time we want to ask for it. And then you hit the nail on the head there. It's like you got to get your therapist involved in this as a process, right? And at your level with 7 locations, you've got like an army of therapists. And so how do we make sure that everybody's asking for this and helping understand the purpose behind it? I love what you said there about making the way that you coach, like, hey, put my name in there, because typically with our patients, we get this really good personal relationship one-on-one with the therapist, and they like their therapist. They know the name of their therapist and everything, and they want to see them do well. And so I think it makes it instead of like, hey, would you give a review about our practice? It's more like, would you give a review about
Yeah,
me as a
that's a
therapist?
great point.
I love
Yeah,
that.
makes it a little bit more personal for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I think too, like what you said too, is you have to gamify it, right? Therapists are busy, it's not always on their mind. But if you make it a competition, if you have some fun with it, it stimulates that competitive advantage, which most PTs are competitive, let's face it. So I think you do the right thing there with making it, gamifying it for that.
yeah, for sure.
And
And
so for you, you've had great growth in your practice over these last, I think, 20 years, you said, right?
yep.
And so what would you say has been your kind of number one source of new patients into your practice? Like what has really helped you grow your business?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say, because we've been around for 20 plus years, that the majority of our new patients are either previous patients or referred by previous patients. I'd say about 40%. That makes up about 40% of what we comes from, and it's great because it's a strong referral base because you're not dependent on that doctor who's going to retire or the doctor who's moving down south to Virginia. That's one place. But
Mhm.
so yeah, it's a very strong referral base, and that's why we also tap direct to consumer type stuff as well. And I think that's going to be more and more important. We don't want to be reliant on the physicians, and not to say that we don't market to them
Mhm.
and still engage with them and stuff like that, but I think in the future that direct to consumer is what's going to be more important.
Yeah, 100% spot on there. I mean, you and I both have been in the profession a long time, and it used to be that you only need 2 or 3 solid referring doctors to get your practice
Yeah,
pretty busy, right?
yeah,
But we know that the landscape has evolved over time, and we're at a point now where to be successful in your practice, if you're just reliant on a few doctors consistently referring, you put yourself at a lot of jeopardy because doctors get bought out. There's a lot of acquisition happening in the healthcare field. They may be retiring, right? Or they may be bringing PT in house. So things could always change, and it may seem like, hey, we're rock and rolling today with all these great referrals from doctors, but it only takes 1 or 2 key doctors stopping referring to challenge you in your practice if you don't have the other systems in place. And I like what you said too. It's something I've always promoted, which is I say that at least about 50% of your business should come from past patients coming back in, referrals from those patients, and the other part should also come from direct to consumer marketing. So how people are finding you through Google, online, social media, coming into you that way, so that by the end of the day, maybe 15% of your practice is from physician referrals, which is still important part, like you said, like make sure that you're networking with doctors. It gives you a lot, and you're a testament to that. You can see that from your growth in that you've been able to have more organic growth from building your reputation, from those word of mouth referrals, from that direct to consumer marketing, and it gives you the opportunity to scale the business rather than being dependent on 1 or 2 referral sources.
yeah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I see that you do obviously different things online. I'm curious, do you have like a marketing director in the clinic? Do you work with an outside marketing agency? What have you found to help you from obviously your website, your SEO, your Google Ads, social media, those kind of things?
Yeah, we've engaged with a number of different marketing type agencies, and we've had varying types of success. We've done the Facebook ads, we've done the SEO, we've done postcards, that type of stuff. With all that type of stuff, I think the biggest bang for our buck has always been uh, putting money in and developing our website. That has been, the biggest thing. That's where most people come in from. We have, this is really cool. I'd say I'd have to do the numbers on it exactly, but probably about 20% of our new patients come in through our website. And we used to do a thing where they get it and you get an email notification and it goes to our new patient specialist, and they call the patient and whatnot. But we've got this new system that we've invested in. I'm not sure if it's considered a marketing system, but it's a platform. I don't know if I can shout out a company called Second Door that has created a dashboard that our patients go to. It's really cool because it's integrated with our prompt. It's still a nascent technology, so they're still developing a lot of stuff. So a few bugs in there and whatnot, but they're making it work, and it'll be good in the future. But it gives a lot of scalability to the website to get new patients in on the schedule because of that platform. It's much cleaner, much more organized, and yeah, like I said, anything we can do to invest in the website is key.
Yeah, it gives you, so that's like the methodology about people are ready to take that action, and then they're going to take that next coordination with online scheduling. How can we make it easier for them through the website? But I love what you said there, because it still is, we have so much technology happening today. We've got different AI that's happening, right? And we've got all kinds of platforms that are coming up. But if you really look at how people are still behaving in our demographic, right? So most of the people that we're treating are going to be between age 25 and 70 something, right? The majority of people in there are still very used to websites, email marketing, text marketing, those kind of things, right? Social media. So if your website is still very much the hub of people's decision making to choose you or not. And we have all these different areas that we're bringing them in from. Maybe they're coming in from email marketing, maybe they're coming from social media, maybe they're coming in from Google, but they're still going to come and look at your reviews. They're still going to look at what you have to offer, and that's through your website. And then we want to take them to that next step, which is to start connecting with us, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the hub. It's a foundation. And I know for myself, going forward, in my advertising, whether I do radio or print or whatever, I just want to drive people to that website, because to go to that platform, it's just so much cleaner to drive people to the website. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, love that. So, Jon, thank you so much for being on the podcast, sharing your wins here. I'm curious, any final words of advice for practice owners out there to scale their businesses?
Yeah, I don't know. The scale your businesses, I don't know. I think it go back to the guiding principles that we talked about initially. Taking care of people like Olympic athletes is just, taking care of your team. Like Olympic athletes with a lot of respect, a lot of competence. Not so much worrying about taking care of the patients, but worry about taking care of your team, because they're the ones that are to take care of the patients. So put your energy into taking care of them, and they'll market the hell out of you.
I love that. Yeah, come back to the core, right? Come back to those fundamentals, have that in place, spend the time on that. Everything else will align to making those core principles work right for your practice. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, Neil.
So did you, Jon. Thanks so much for being on the podcast with us and sharing your expertise. Congratulations on all your success there, Jon. And for our audience out there, thank you for following us here. I hope you got a lot out of today's podcast. Don't forget to like and follow us on the Practice Marketing Podcast, as well as our YouTube channel has all these videos, as well as other marketing tips. So don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. And then also at practicepromotions.net, we've got tons of downloads and free marketing tips for you on there. So don't forget to check that out. This is Neil Trickett from the Practice Marketing Podcast, wishing you much success in your practice.
A free way for you to support our show is by leaving a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It's a chance for you to tell us what you love about the show, and it helps others discover it as well. Just scroll down to ratings and review on your phone and click write a review. Thanks.